email threats, written threats left in the mailbox, threats sprayed in red spray paint all across the house. Was it an intruder or someone closer to the family? Let's find out right now. Happy Thriller Thursday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carencro, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on that notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best, and you're ready to hear a true crime case with yours truly. And as always, I want to know, are y'all drinking y'all water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Are y'all getting those tickers up? Are y'all going for brisk 20, 30-minute walks every day? Remember, just a quick 20, 30-minute walk in the morning, get those endorphins up. You will have an amazing, wonderful day. I promise you. And how are y'all doing on this beautiful Thursday evening? It is beautiful down here in Louisiana. And I want to know, what are y'all doing this summer? What are y'all plans? What do y'all have plans with friends and family? And don't forget to make tons and tons and tons of memories. And always remember to have fun with friends and family. That is the best part of summer. It's just the love and the time that you spend making memories with friends and family, especially those children. And today we are going to be discussing a case of a mother and her two beautiful, beautiful baby boys. Sheri Ann Rice was born on July 3rd, 1977 in Illinois. She was a beautiful, sweet, wonderful, loving child with the most beautiful eyes I have ever seen on anyone in my entire life. A stunning, beautiful woman. Sheri knew she always wanted to serve our country. She wanted to be a part in serving our beautiful country of the United States of America. And I'm going to pause right there and tell y'all, the people that serve our country, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you every day. My father and my two grandfathers served our country, and for them, as well as you, I am truly grateful. Sheri Ann would train canine dogs. Y'all, what kind of amazing job is that? That is the best job I can ever think of. Training little canines. Oh, that sounds so amazing. Oh, I can only imagine about doing that. While Sheri was at this canine training seminar, she met 22-year-old Marine Christopher Coleman, and it was boom, love at first sight. They were crazy about each other. They were very young, but they had a bond, and they were on the fast track to get married. After only dating a few months, Sheri discovered that she was pregnant. Chris was brought up in an extremely religious home. Both his parents, Ron and Connie Coleman, were pastors, so Chris wanted to marry Sheri. Chris and Sheri ran off, they got married. Chris drove to his parents' home and shared the exciting news that he was married and that his parents were going to be grandparents. Christopher and Sheri Coleman welcomed their first beautiful baby boy on April 30th, 1998. They named him Garrett Dominic Eugene Coleman. He was beautiful. And 2 years later, they welcomed a second baby boy, born on January 25th, 2000, and named him Gavin Christopher Coleman. These boys were stunning, beautiful kids. They had blonde platinum hair like their father, stunning bluish green eyes like their mother. In my opinion, both baby boys looked exactly like Sheri. They were gorgeous. And around this time, Chris Coleman started working for world famous televangelist Joyce Meyer. Do y'all know Joyce Meyer? I definitely know Joyce Meyer. Joyce Meyer was head of an international Christian ministry, and she knew Chris Coleman's parents. Joyce hired Chris to work on her security team, and it wasn't long before Chris became Joyce's personal bodyguard, earning $100,000 a year. Sheri and Chris purchased a beautiful, absolutely beautiful two-story home in Columbia, Illinois. It was gorgeous. It was perfect for the growing little family. And they also lived right down the road from Chris's parents, who lived in Chester, Illinois. It was the perfect spot for the little family. And neighbors, friends, and family described the Coleman family as a beautiful, loving couple with two gorgeous children. Sheri and Chris seemed to have the perfect life. Chris had this wonderful job making six figures, which allowed Sheri to be a stay-at-home mom, which she loved and adored. She loved staying home with her boys. She adored her little boys. She loved being a wife and mother. And in November of 2008, Sheri, Chris, and the boys traveled to Florida to meet up with Sheri's best friend, Tara Lentz, from high school. Sheri and Tara Lentz were wonderful best friends all throughout high school, and Sheri wanted to go and catch up with her best friend. Around this same time, in November of 2008, yes, Sheri's best friend, Tara, and Sheri's husband, Christopher Coleman, started having an affair. Sheri had absolutely no clue. They started communicating. Chris and Tara started traveling together. Chris had to travel a lot for work, being the personal bodyguard for Joyce Myers. They went to Arizona, even Hawaii, and exchanged tons and tons of explicit texts, emails, phone calls, and the sexual nature. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Tons of them, too many to count. I saw several. But they were in love and they wanted to be together. According to Tara, they were on the fast track to hurry up and be together. Even had credit cards in their names, and they shared accounts together, all kinds of stuff. Chris had this whole different double life. But around this time in November of 2008, a very threatening email was sent to Chris Coleman, Joyce Meyer, and Joyce Meyer's son. And not long after that, in January of 2009, a threatening letter was left in Chris Coleman's mailbox. Sheri and Chris were petrified. They didn't know who was doing this. They were scared. They didn't know what was going to happen next due to all these threatening emails and letters. Chris's neighbor was a police officer, Justin Barlow. Chris reported all of these incidents to Justin, and Justin decided to put a camera and pointed it directly to Chris's mailbox to see what type of activity was going on around that mailbox. Justin also had a police car patrol the area, but after reviewing the camera and after patrolling for several weeks, nothing was ever found. Absolutely no results, no activity was going on around Chris Coleman's house or around the mailbox. In late April, Sheri started noticing that Chris's demeanor had changed. She couldn't figure out why he was being so mean to her. He would yell and scream at her. He would tell her what a horrible wife she was, that she wasn't taking care of his needs well. They started seeing a marriage counselor. Sheri stated to several friends that he would put on a show in front of the marriage counselor, but when he would get home, he would just scream, yell, and holler at her. She couldn't figure out what was going on, but she did entertain the thought that he may be having an affair. But with who? Around this same time, Chris received another threatening letter and contacted the police. He was absolutely terrified that someone was threatening he, Joyce, and his family. No one knew what was going on. But in the meantime, Chris is telling Tara Lentz, who he is having an affair with, that he's having divorce papers served to Sheri on May 4th or 5th. He takes pictures of himself sleeping on the couch, showing Tara that he's not sleeping with Sheri in the bed. He tells Tara, we're gonna have a baby, we're gonna have a girl, and we're gonna name her Zoe. Chris purchased a promise ring for Tara Lentz. Y'all, they were all in. Tara thought they were having this relationship, that they were gonna get married. Chris was leaving his wife. Everything was said and done. It was over between he and Sheri. But that wasn't the case. And Chris knew he could not get a divorce because it was said that when you work for Joyce Meyer, you could not get divorced, especially over infidelity. Was that true? I have no clue. In my opinion, it could be true. It could be true. Joyce was very religious and maybe didn't didn't approve of divorce. Who knows? But Chris did not want to get a divorce, and Sheri was never going to file for divorce. Sheri even made the comment to one of her friends, "Do you want to see the woman that my husband is having an affair with?" So Sheri knew that Chris was having an affair with Tara Lentz. Just like Scott Peterson, just like Christopher Watts, Chris Coleman wanted to get rid of his family. He wanted to start a new life with Tara Lentz. He wanted to discard his old family and begin a new family and a new life with Tara Lentz. And on May 5th, 2009, Chris Coleman leaves for the gym. He goes to the gym. While he's at the gym, he calls to wake up Sheri. Sheri's on answer, and he calls and calls, leaves messages, leaves text messages, but there is absolutely no response from Sheri. He couldn't figure out what was wrong. He was scared. He was worried. Chris picks up the phone and calls his neighbor, who is a cop, Justin Barlow, and says, "Hey, Sheri's on answering the phone. I don't know how to get in touch with her. I'm on my way home now, but please go check on her." Justin Barlow meets another cop at the Coleman's house, and they discover that a window by the basement is opened. But why is the window by the basement open? And what they discover when they walk into that house is horrendous. As police walked through the Coleman's home, they saw a horrific scene. They noticed there was huge red spray painted letters all across the home with phrases such as, "I'm always watching, you have paid, punished," all in huge red spray paint. I mean, just all across the home, this is spray painted everywhere. The cops walk around and they find Sheri, Gavin, and Garen deceased in their beds. They find Sheri had black eyes. It looks like she had put up a fight. And all three of them had ligature marks around their necks. Looks like they had been strangled with some type of cord or rope. All three of their bodies were discovered, all deceased. How heartbreaking is that? To know that this is how these three people died. How heartbreaking is this? That a mother and her two beautiful baby boys were brutally murdered. When Chris drives up, the police officers notify him that his entire family is dead. Chris is absolutely devastated. Investigators take Chris Coleman off to the police station. They question him right away. They notice he has scratches on his arms. He asks for a blanket. They give him a blanket. In my opinion, he wasn't cold. He was trying to hide the scratch marks that his wife had left on his body. The cops were very suspicious over Chris. They even said, "Are you seeing someone else? Do you talk to someone else?" And all while, Chris was like, "Well, I mean, I do talk to this girl named Tara in Florida, and sometimes I feel like the conversations aren't appropriate for a married man, but nothing is really going on." All while the cops are in Florida talking to Tara. And do you know, oh, I'm getting mad. Do you know what Tara says when the cops arrive at her house? She tells them all about her affair with Chris. Then she calls her boss. Tara is a cocktail waitress. She calls her boss and is like, "I won't be able to come to work today because I'm involved in a very high profile murder case." Why on earth would she say that? Why would she even want to be involved in this case? I would be so ashamed if I were Tara. I would be ashamed that I was having an affair with my best friend's husband. I would be ashamed that the guy I was having an affair with just murdered his whole family for me. I would be absolutely just horrified. But Tara was acting like this was a party. She was involved in this high-profile murder case. But Tara told the cops everything. The Florida cops notified the Illinois cops and saying, I think Tara and Chris are having an affair. After cops checked Sheri's phone and the laptops, they realized that Chris Coleman was having an affair with Tara Lentz. On May 9th, 2009, Sheri, Garrett, and Gavin are buried. It is absolutely devastating. A service was held for them, and Christopher Coleman did not attend. The entire community was devastated, absolutely devastated over the murder of this beautiful mother and her two gorgeous, beautiful baby boys. Everyone was shocked. No one knew what was going on, and everybody was afraid. Who would do this? Who would do this to this entire family? It was absolutely scary and terrifying. But cops knew that Christopher Coleman was responsible for the death of the family, and they were slowly building up a case against Christopher Coleman. A forensic pathologist who did the investigation on the bodies stated that Sheri, Garrett, and Gavin were already deceased by the time Christopher Coleman left the house to go to the gym. And according to cell phone records, Christopher Coleman took the long way home on the morning of Sheri, Garrett, and Gavin's murder. After he called his neighbor to go check on his family, instead of taking the short way home, he took the long way home. Why? In my opinion, he wanted to be gone as long as he could so someone else would discover the bodies of his entire family. And another thing, a huge piece of evidence, and this to me is the worst. Remember all those threatening emails, those letters that were sent to Chris, Joyce, and her son? Guess what, y'all? Yes, those letters and those emails came from Christopher Coleman's own laptop with his own login. Oh, I knew it. I said to myself, they are going to find evidence in Chris Coleman's computer that's going to show that he sent these emails and these letters to himself and his boss. I knew it. And to me, that was the smoking gun. That sealed the deal for the prosecution. Chris Coleman, in my opinion, was absolutely guilty of killing his entire family. And another thing that I find very strange, on Christopher Coleman's father, Ronnie's computer, on his laptop, were naked pictures of Tara Lance. Why is that? Why would Chris Coleman's father have nude pictures of Tara Lance, the person that his son's having an affair with? It just didn't make sense. And Christopher Coleman said that Sheri just wasn't taking care of his needs, and that's why Tara Lance came into the picture. And another thing, don't y'all find it very strange and weird that Christopher Coleman told Tara Lance, according to Tara, that he was having Sheri served with divorce papers either May 4th or 5th. And it just so happened on May 5th, Sheri and the boys are murdered? Don't y'all find that weird? I find that extremely weird and strange that on the same day this murder happened. This was absolutely traumatizing and terrifying for the entire community. It's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking that someone would murder their entire family for another woman? For another woman. Why would someone do that? Just get a divorce if you don't want to be with the person. Or make your marriage work. Don't kill your whole family and think that you're going to get away with it. I can't believe he actually thought that he was going to get away with this. And he didn't. He did not get away with it. Sheri, Garrett, and Gavin were given justice. Exactly 2 years to the day, on May 5th, 2011, when Christopher Coleman was found guilty of killing his wife and two baby boys, and he was given a life sentence. And we all knew that was coming. We all knew that Christopher Coleman was going to be charged with their murders. Y'all, he was arrested right away. The cops knew. There was nobody else that could have committed this murder except Christopher Coleman. My final thought, you know, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is that even though Christopher Coleman says he did not kill his wife and two beautiful children, even though Christopher Coleman states that he racks his brain every single day in jail, wondering who killed his wife and children, all he has to do, in my opinion, is look in the mirror and he will find the killer. There is no question in my mind, as well as Sheri's family and police, that Christopher Coleman murdered his entire family for another woman, which I don't understand. These three men that I spoke about this week, Scott Peterson, Christopher Watts, and Christopher Coleman, all murdered their entire family over another woman. And Scott and Christopher's wives were pregnant with their child. How heartless is that? To murder your entire family over another woman. And Tara Lynch in Florida, honey, she thought this was a celebrity show. She steps out of the car with her sunglasses. All the reporters are waiting for her. She walks up there with her high heels, wearing her promise ring, telling everyone as she testifies how he was leaving Sheri for her. They were getting married, that he was serving her with divorce paper, all while none of that was true. None of that was true. And Christopher Coleman admitted that he lied to Tara, that none of that was ever happening. And he says he feels bad that he put Tara through all of this. You feel bad that you put Tara through all of this? Why didn't you feel bad that you put your wife and your two sons through all of this, as well as her family? What about Sheri's family? What about your kids? You don't care that you want to murder your kids? You want to start a whole new life with another woman? If that's what you want to do, divorce your wife, run away, and never see your wife or kids again. You don't have to murder them. Why not let them live and you go start your own life? Why do you think that it makes it right for you to kill your entire family? That's me, y'all. I don't understand that. I could never understand that in my entire life, to murder your family over someone else. Just to murder your family in general, just to murder anyone is beyond me. To me, that's just crazy. That's insane. But Christopher Coleman will never see the light of day. In my opinion, he is never getting out of jail, because Christopher Coleman is the murderer of his wife, Sheri, and his two beautiful, beautiful baby boys, Garrett and Gavin. And my heart goes out to Sheri's family, as well as the entire community that is mourning the loss of this beautiful family. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, remember to stay safe, always be aware of your surroundings, and always know that you can message me, send me requests, and always know that I'm here if you need. I'm always here for you. And thank you very much for watching my videos, subscribing to my content. I absolutely enjoy making these videos for y'all, and I'm going to keep doing it. And for you, I am truly grateful. Thank you again. I love all of you. And until next week, bye.